I love the milky color on this one. God, it's so unique. I'm gonna sit this to the side. I just want to take some pictures of it when I get done with this. Bad experiment. Man, just can't select one, man. These are just peeking out over the crowd. You're. What up? What up? Just taking a look at some seedlings. Welcome to the party. What's up, Trey Smith, 8910? What's good, bro? I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait to put these things outside. I'm ready for the fresh start, especially everything on this side. They ready, and I'm ready for them to be ready. Got a lot of repotting to do. I mean, pretty much all three of these, but that's three pots. So all three of those I already did the ones in the middle right there, but then that's like another. That's one, two, and then three going across right there. I think all three need to be repotted, and practically everything on this side. It's a lot of work. A lot of work. I'm kind of taking my time because I don't have anywhere to put them. And I got a finite amount of space, so I'm building another rack. Which, if I need to quit being lazy and order the lights for it, once I get the lights, I'll go ahead and get this thing wrapped in mylar, and yeah, I get it wrapped in mylar, get the lights hooked up, and I'll start repotting a little more frequently. Try to do like one pot, two pots a day. Because the problem with this is when you repot something like this one pot turns into like 9 or 10 pots. They take up a lot of space. So I've been taking my time with it. Like I did two pots today, but they were a little on the lighter side. Those two pots turned into 10, 5 per cross. But some of these are packed. Like I was a little too aggressive with how much seed I sprinkled into some of these pots. So it's like I can't even make selections yet. You know what I'm saying? I can't even make selections yet because a lot of them are light starved because they packed in so tight. So I could potentially be giving something that's really, really nice to boot. So I'm not even gonna make any selections. Let me see. Currently as we speak, flooding my utricularia planters to wash out tenant. Hey, that's what's up. I've been doing that with my sphagnum. Keep me. I need to hit it. I need to hit mine again. They over here. It's looking a little bit better than it did the other day. But yeah, this one needs to be flushed. I'm gonna have to hit it. Like you can even see the tannins in the water. So I'm gonna have to actually siphon that out and then hit it again. Fill it up, maybe like once or twice more. It's my fault though because I let it dry out too much. But I have just some small starter plugs in this one and some Puerto Ricans, Sphagnum Puerto Ricans up front, up here. Puerto Rican sphagnum moss looks really, really nice once it fills in. So yeah, but like this one it's almost flush, it's almost good. But these back here, sorry about that. But yeah, this one back here, these couple mounds back there have a lot of humic acid buildup. Just because I let it dry out way too much. The more dehydrated the peat becomes, the more humic acid builds up in it. So yeah. And here's my Nepenthes that I never show off because they never really look too good for me. But I definitely am more a fan of Sarracenia than I am Nepenthes. But I've even got some back rhizome cuttings back here, and I'm trying to strike Sarracenia. This rack stays a little bit warmer than the one over there where the Sarracenia are. So it's 75 degrees right now. So I'm trying to get these things to do something for me. And those are just, like I said, back rhizome cuttings from Sarracenia that I have that I want to propagate. And a pineapple that one of my buddies gave me. But I've been keeping that mylar closed down on the front just to try to keep in some heat for those back rhizome cuttings. Let's see. But yeah, it's actually time to water. So like you can see, these trays are bone dry. I'm gonna water them tomorrow. But the pots, they're not dry. Like I can tell by how much they weigh that it's still some water left in them. So it's not like a dire emergency to water them right now. But that's just how I water them. I've done videos on that a bunch of times. But these two fans, they do an awesome job of just keeping air flowing. The more air is flowing, it's wicking that water out of there. So when I fill these up, they're right back empty in 2 or 3 days. These more like 2 days. This big one's more like 3 to 4 days. It's back completely empty, like it is right now. And I fill this one up all the way to the rim. Like I'll fill it up here, and you can even as soon as I put the water in, you can immediately see the peat absorbing the water because it'll just start dropping like right before your eyes. You can see it. It'll go down to about right there, and a lot of times I'll top it back off and then let that set the level. But this is one of my crosses I made last year, Oreophila by Huguenot, which is a very, very, very dark plant. So these are all siblings from that cross. I've germinated almost every single. Well, I know I germinated every seed, but I have given some of the seedlings away to some friends. But the Huguenot, the pollen parent, is dark like this one right here. It's a little bit lighter on the backside than like the actual parent is jet black. But yeah, since everything outside is pretty much sleep or whatever they do when they're dormant, this is where I spend all my time now, just messing around with the seedlings, rushing them to grow. I'm man, this right here keeps catching my eye. I'm hoping that this color holds like this, and it I mean, because it kind of resembles flower pastel. So since flower pastel goes for so much money, I would love to have grown my own for sure. But this thing right here looks great. It's a North Carolina flower mix that I got from Steve Gaelic. Same with this. No, I think almost all of these are North Carolina flowers. I got a lot of North Carolina flower packs from him that I germinated. I have a few more that I haven't even started yet. Rosea by uh, Montana or Montana by Rosea. These were on the struggle bus for a little bit, but they're starting to finally put out new pictures. And you can see them. Oh yeah, it's just right now the mission is just repotting, repotting, repotting. It just takes nonstop repotting. Like this thing right here isn't even a year old. It's about 15 inches. That though the seeds that created this plant went under lights in March of 2025. That's gonna be a big plant if it keeps up that type of vigor. And these are pure flowers. Got some hybrid stuff down there. Got some more really really dark plants. So it's actually mylar. Those are mylar panels. You can get them off of Amazon, but it reflects the light. So the goal, this is what it looks like when it comes. But it's really good at reflectivity. The goal is to make this light shine light on the plants as many times as possible before the light gets wasted into the room. So like if I stand back, you can see the cutoff line. Like you see it right there on the wall. If I didn't have this mylar, there would be no cutoff line. Like it would shine down on the plants, and then that's it. And it increases your efficiency, the light's efficiency. There's a video that I always send to people that's on YouTube where a guy took a grow light, checked the he checked the PPFD for that light, and then put a hoop around it and put mylar around the hoop, and then set it over the light, and then tested it again. He tested it again, and it went up like 400% or something crazy like that. So the only way I can make this more efficient is if I put a panel on the front and then put mylar facing down over the plants across the top, because then I would have light bouncing 360 degrees, front, back, left, right, up, and down. But I didn't want to put anything on the front because of airflow. I'm terrified of mold and mildew issues. I lost a lot of seedlings the first time I tried to grow seedlings to mold. And yeah, that's why, again, these things stay on 24/7. And you can see that the plants literally get blown around. I had this thing on high. What's up, Cincinnati? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you tapping in, man. But yeah, I'm I gotta really get a little more aggressive with the repots so that these are ready to go outside in the spring. I'm clearing all of these out in the spring except for the smallest ones. The smallest ones may stay in here until early summer, but everything here is going outside in 2026. everything. This is most of their first dormancy being skipped, except for like the first 2 or 3 rows in this tub right there. Yeah, if you're talking about the mylar, yeah, definitely, bro. If, yeah, most definitely, you'll increase the efficiency of your lights and put more light on the plants versus losing it to the room for sure. And I'm so when I get this rack set up, which of course, like I said, all I need really are the lights, and then which I need to order. I just haven't ordered them yet, but I just need the lights. I'm gonna wrap. I'm gonna wrap it in mylar and do the same thing. But I think I'm gonna use this as an actual germination rack because when you germinate, you don't need as much light as that thing produces. And this light is great for this area, but it's not quite wide enough to really cover the corners as good as maybe I need to get the bigger one that stretches out a little bit further. But for now, it does what it's supposed to do. But what I'm planning on doing is doing all my germinating on this rack on tube lights, LED tubes, because like I said, they don't need as much light as that thing right there produces. So I would rather reserve this thing for the bigger seedlings because the funny thing is everything that's super short right here all germinated directly under the light. Everything that's super tall in this tray all germinated on the side over here with less light, and then they grew up faster than these. The high light keeps them short because they don't need as much. They don't need to stretch out as much for light, so they grow at a slower rate, quote unquote. But they still develop really nice sized crowns. They just don't grow bigger pitchers. So I'm gonna trick the plants by keeping them in a little bit lower light until they get to the size where they start developing actual rhizomes, and then move them to the brighter light, which is what I did with these. And these, like this picture, came after putting it under the brighter light. Like they've just been taken off now that I have them under the brighter light now. So what I'm doing now, same thing with this. When I move this plant out from under the bright light, I started getting bigger pictures. That's where like everything that you see that's coming up, these taller pictures now, here you can just see them poking up now. Those all started simply because I moved the plants from the middle tray to the one on the right. So instead of having to do all of that, I'm gonna just put all of them on this rack with little bit with lights that are a little bit weaker. So then all of them grow at a little bit more accelerated rate. They get those bigger crowns earlier. Then they'll transition over to the bright lights. Then that opens up this thing to germinate more seed. So I'm thinking that I should be able to germinate 2 batches a year with this plan, but only time will tell. Flame rocks. These are Sarracenia seedlings. Sarracenia North American pitcher plants. So they Oh, that's what's up, Cincinnati. Hey, I don't know if I made a mistake or not. Only time will tell. But Steve released those plants very late in the season compared to what he did last year in 2024. So I bought seedlings from him in 2024 seedling bundles, but he released them in like April or May. So I just put them straight outside. Whatever. They did great. I still have pretty much all of them out there in their eaves now. But this year he released them late, like August or September. So I potted them all up and left them outside. So they're dormant now. So fingers crossed they make it through the winter because I know it wasn't very much time for them to get acclimated because he's growing them in a greenhouse in indoor conditions, controlled environment. So I hit them with a lot of change right up front. As a matter of fact, I went out and looked at them a couple days ago, and they're still alive. But and then we also had 15-degree night on Monday night, and I went out and looked on Tuesday or Wednesday, and they still look fine. But what happens this time of year, and that you got to be careful of if you have them outside, is when the peak freezes, it pushes the plants up out of the media. So a lot of it, I have to go out and just push them down. That's what I've been doing, just going around, pushing them down, pushing them down, pushing them down. What happens is, as they mature, they'll root in deeper into the pots, and that won't happen anymore. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, so you can do it either way. There was enough time for them to get acclimated and go dormant. Just don't get to enjoy them as much, pretty much. But I have so many plants that it's really a survival of the fittest type of environment over here at this point. So, yeah, fingers crossed they make it through. I put them in really big pots. They're in 5x6. I put them in a 5x6 pot because the roots were so long on them, which Steve is a master of pulling some insane roots out of his plants. But I have them in big 5x6 pots. I potted them like 20 per pot or something like that. I just did 5 rows of four or 4 rows of five, and in those pots. So we'll see. I mean, fingers crossed they make it through the winter. I don't have any doubts that they will. They're pretty tough. I have seedlings that are even younger than those that are outside right now, dealing with all of the crazy weather that we've been having, and they're fine as well. I mean, you may have some dormancy die off, and that's a strong maybe. I mean, they pretty much hold down whatever the big boys can take. Yeah. Hey, I think I might have bought that same bundle, but don't quote me. Trade as far as so the bulk of my plants are grown outside. So natural rainfall typically takes care of humic acid. So I've never dealt with it killing my plants, but if I remember correctly, I have read somewhere that it is possible because they just can't handle so much of it. So you may have to do some flushing, fill them up and then somehow get the water to pour off. Or if you get like a decent midday rain, just stick the container outside in the rain and let it overflow. That's what I typically do with my moss. Is if we have like 2 or 3 days straight of rain in the forecast, I'll just slap them suckers outside and just let Mother Nature take care of it. And what'll happen is it'll just pour off the side as it rains. And you'll come back and, well, for me, in my case, with my moss, it'll just be bright green and beautiful and lush. But the same thing happens to my plants growing outside too. And when like in June and July, when rain starts to become scarce around here, and I'm only watering from the bottom, my sphagnum moss will start turning black, and that's just humic acid. But as soon as it starts raining again, it goes away. Oh yeah, man, you got me excited about those seedlings. Hearing that, that's good news. I can't wait. Is it dark? It's dark. I'll take y'all to see the ones I just repotted today. These are all pure Lucos. It's all pure Lucos. When I do my repots, I put them in a container like this and fill it with water. Fills all the air pockets, and then when you take them out, the media grabs a hold of the roots, and it all vacuums to the roots, locks them in real good, get full contact. Family here sleep. Oh, while I got y'all here, you might as well look at some plants. Yeah, I sell and trade all the time. That's how I get the bulk of my plants, to be honest. Like I hardly buy plants as much anymore, unless something comes around that I've really been hunting. I'm hardly ever buying. These are some plants that I'm acclimating right now. That's Goliath from Phil Felici. I actually bought this one, but these three right here, I didn't pay for those. I traded or I think both of those are Leucophylla seedlings. And then this is Royal Ruby by something. I can't remember. But that's a big flava. There's my big rosea. Oh yeah, this thing is nuts. I think a couple people have looked at it and told me that it is Leah Wilkerson, but yeah, I mean, this thing got slapped with 15-degree temperatures the other night, and the pictures are still rigid. Like that's minor O'Key, and there's a little pure flava in there. Some fly traps in there too. That's a pure flava. Gargantuan crowns on this thing. Big rhizome. Oh, 7 points is disgusting. That thing's gonna be a beast when it comes up. That's Dixie Lace. None of these have drainage. These are all closed bogs. The only drainage they have, I must have turned. The only drainage that they have is that little hole right there. That just stops the top from flooding out. I had a plant in here that died. So I had another rosea in this one, like that one, and it I traded that plant away, put a different plant in there, and it died. This was a seedling that came in some moss. So all I'm gonna do is just uproot that and stick it in there. This is another one of my seedlings I just popped in there too. This is a flytrap king plant. So speaking of growth points and crowns, like this plant is huge. That's all one. This is all one rhizome. This pot is 14 inches, so it's going almost left to right in this pot all the way. I could. This thing probably has 20 crowns on it if I had to guess. Debbie. So I just went in Lowe's one day and bought a Venus flytrap, and it became a nut. Now my whole backyard is carnivorous plants. Luco X Oreo. No, that one is Luco by Moria. The if you're talking about the Luco X Oreos, that's these two. I got those from Cooks. They didn't do anything for me this season until fall. I just bought them at a weird time, and they protested the whole season. I didn't get nothing, but maybe a couple phyllodia. But I think this plant right here is gonna put out some really nice looking pictures once it settles in after dormancy. But these are all the Gaelic seedlings right here. See, I gotta come through and push them all down, but they're still alive. Shout out to the bogs. Yeah, I get a ton of plants from Flytrap King. But I wanna so I was going through my YouTube account earlier today and saw a video of this plant from April where I showed the size of it. And then to see how big this plant is now is ridiculous. Like I don't like a lot of times I don't think people believe me when I say how when I tell them how much my plants grow in one season. Like this plant was like this big in April. And now, I mean, you can see my hand. It's it's bigger than my hand now. Merry Christmas to you too, Debbie. So this is one of my favorite plants. Like it's almost January. I mean, it's mid-December. Christmas is in a couple days. Look at the traps on this thing. That's Helen Mary by Saxapahaw. So these are the porch bogs I built last winter. They're all a year old now. I made a couple of videos building those. There's this thing. Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Love a big pot of fly traps. It's one of my favorite things to see. This is Dorian's Colossus. Everybody loves this plant, but it does not do very well for me. So I'm gonna put this Helen Mary by Saxapahaw. I'm gonna put it in that bog in Dorian's Colossus's place because this plant grows super fast. Like I mean, how many crowns do we need to count? That's just one side. That's probably 10 plus. Just on one side. This thing's heavy. I got Super Duper from Rob Co. That one I did buy. And that thing, I was wishing for a flower on it so bad this year, but it didn't flower for me. Here's some more of my seedlings out of my own collection. They've been out here all summer. There's a bunch of plants, man. It's too much to manage. Then this thing right here, this keeps happening. It keeps falling over. I guess I'm gonna just stake it for the winter. I think that's Lunchbox. I think that's a division of Lunchbox that I took. It's still alive, but it won't be if it keeps falling out of the daggone pot. Some moss. See, so we got a whole bunch of rain this week, so all the moss is flushed out. Brunswick Beauty. Yeah, man, that plant grew stupid this year. Whack-a-mole, dragon queen, saxophone, and this is a North Carolina flower that would not stop putting flowers out. That thing put flowers out all year. Like I don't get it. But dragon queen holds its shape really deep into the season too, just not its color. Tatooine sunrise recently divided, and I'm gonna have to bury these crowns or something to get them to stay. See if that make them stay put. But I wanted to this plant gets huge and it makes some extremely sturdy traps. So I divided it up and potted all of the divisions in one bog. So I can't wait to see that bog in the spring. So this flava right here was one of the seedlings that I got from Steve Galick last year in 2024. That one and this one, they're siblings. Whack-a-mole is one of the parents. This one's a really, really nice cuprea. This is an alata. This one looks just like whack-a-mole. It's a bunch of fly traps down in here. Somebody, I owed somebody a fly trap, so I just dug it out of that hole right there. Let me see. Pond by the noob. Hey, don't threaten me with a good time. I load you up. Hurricane Creek White by Super Pink. Golly. Man, I love when they get stupid big like that. Just get ridiculous. Same thing with this thing. Look at this flower. This is my daughter's bog, the one we built on camera together. I mean the moss. If you watch that video back, we just put 3 clumps of moss in there and look at it. It's covered the whole top. I'm gonna have to pull something back this winter though. But man, this flower that we put in there is enormous now. Shrubbed out. Let's go. More bogs. I'm telling y'all, when you put them in a bog, they just go stupid. The plants grow so much faster than they do when they're in pots. My B52 bog. Some more Sarracenia seedlings. These are all from this year. Didn't do much of nothing. So we'll see next year. I probably should have brought them inside and put them under lights, but I just don't have no space. But this is a good looking plant too. Got some sundews, my fly trap tray, dark prints, still looking pretty good. These are all Lucos over here. Lucos and Alatas. I kept them all together. Look, I mean, it's a good looking trap for mid-December. Same with that boy. Look, this a lot of turned yellow in the for the winter. So my Hurricane Creek White right here. Let me see. Got a bunch of seedlings from Steve right now. Hey man, put my seedlings from Steve in your grow tent too. Cause they out here frozen solid. But here's my Hurricane Creek White clone F. I noticed it was starting to die. So I brought it in. I didn't bring it inside, but I divided it late, probably like October and November. So yeah, it quit on me after after that. It was season was over for it. It was donezo. Adrian Slack Lunchbox and Leo Wilkerson Bog. That'll be interesting. Lunchbox is a tank. I got well, I just divided one of them, but I have I had 2 main mother plants of Lunchbox. Lunchbox is one of my favorite plants. Now you can't go wrong with it. That's Elvis Wilkerson. and Vintner's Treasure, I think. Super heavy veins or Vintner's Treasure, one or the other. Bunch of more seedlings, some seedlings from Phil. It's Oriophila back there. But here go the hitters right here. This is where the hitters are. Wilkinson's Red Rocket still standing straight up. At least one of the pictures. Like 12 or 12, yeah. And build all the bogs. So what happens when you start building bogs, you can't stop because they're way easier to manage than potted plants. You water them less. You don't have to mess with them at all. That's why I ended up with like almost 30 of them, just bogs everywhere. Because they're just easier to manage. Like I water them like once a month. Even down here in North Carolina, it gets like 90 something degrees once a month. Alabamensis, fire fall color, winter colors. Dark zone, which pots you talking about, bro? Beef and broccoli. Where's Royal Ruby at? That's Royal Ruby right there. And that pot with all the moss on the back of it. You talking about these right here? So I got two different types of black square pots. If you're talking about these right here, they're called Anderson. Yeah, these are tree seedling pots. They're called Anderson band pots. But the bottom, you have to find something to plug the hole. So I Scotch Brite. But yeah, these things are bulletproof. But I like them because they sit straight. They sit right up against each other. They help insulate, their neighbors. Love those pots. They don't deform. And like when you get one, I'll show y'all in a second one that's about to bust out of one. They don't break. They'll turn into a diamond. That's what's up, Cincinnati. That's Brooks Garcia. This thing was a This thing was like the size of my pinky last year and then just went crazy this year. Those are some flowers from McWayne right across the front right there. Starry Night, which is one of Dr. Melachamp's hybrids. Super Marii, which is one of Plant Everything Carnivorous's hybrids. This is my big pot of purple throat Oreophila. Look at that moss. There's three divisions of it in there, and God knows how many crowns. Strawberry Bonbon. Those two big pots. I love when they hold their traps this deep into December. It's nuts. Cincinnati, all of my bogs have water reservoirs, and the ones that didn't, I already rebuilt them and put a reservoir in them. So that should answer your question. Hold on, somebody else asked me. So, what's my number one favorite? Man, the answer to that question changes like every week because there's some plants that look great in the fall but don't look like much of anything in the winter or in the fall. I mean, there's some plants that look amazing in the spring and look like nothing in the fall. There's some plants that look like absolutely nothing in the spring but look great in the fall. So I could never really just pick one. If I had to pick like a well-rounded plant that I like all year, I would say Brooks Garcia is one of them because that thing looks amazing from February all the way until it stops growing. I say Wilkinson's Red Rocket and Flava Supermax because they just get astronomical. Leucophylla AJ01 is I like it better than Wilkinson's Red Rocket. Wilkinson's Red Rocket just gets bigger. Yeah, Brooks Garcia was registered at the beginning of 2024. But these are the 14-inch tree pots that I've been experimenting with too. I got a couple flavas in them, and then I've got an Oreophila rhizome in them. I just divided that Oreo and put it in there. Then I got this flava and then this flava rhizome in there. Here's another one of my tables. So I think this is my lunchbox right here. I want to say that's lunch. Yeah, that's lunchbox right there. Some more seedling stuff that, depending on how they do in the spring, I might cull those. There's AJ01 right there. Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, I'll definitely be letting go of some seedlings. I've let go of a couple bundles here and there. I would say if you ever interested, make sure you follow me on IG and Facebook. My oldest. So my whole collection is 3 years old. So I don't really have a oldest per se that I can really, because of course you never know how old they are when they come from the previous grower. But I will say one of my biggest plants has to be Flava Supermax. I think Flava Supermax is probably my biggest plant so far. That plant tried to send up 19 flowers in the spring, and I chopped off 16 of them. I mean, no, I chopped off 13 of them. I kept six. I pollinated three and then used the other three for pollen for other plants. But yeah, my Flava Supermax has to be, if I had to guess, the largest. That was the biggest red rocket picture right there. But as far as like actual rhizome size, I'm gonna imagine that the Supermax is probably the biggest one in the collection. Because 19 flowers, that's at minimum 19 crowns, and that's not including the immature ones that didn't flower. So that thing probably has like 25, 30 crowns on it. This is it right here. This is all of it. That's Flava Supermax. I mean, this thing is huge. It's probably like 10 inches across, maybe a foot across. Yeah, when I saw it putting up 19 flowers, yo, I came out and clipped them things immediately. And to think it still held six flowers and produced seeds and put up 3 foot pictures. So next year I'm cutting all of the flowers off to see how tall it'll go. I want to see it hit like 40 inches. I've heard people getting 40 inches out of it. I'm cutting all the flowers off of all my Sarracenia and letting them go bonkers next year. Oh yeah, you definitely got some native Sarracenia up there in PA, bro, for sure. There's flavas that I think were transplanted up in New Jersey. That's my Tatnall County perp. That thing is about a foot and some change, about a foot, maybe 12, 13 inches across. And here's his counterpart over here. I'm gonna have to like. I think one of my spring projects is definitely gonna be thinning this bog garden out because they're just growing on top of you. That's like four plants right there, and they're just growing on top of each other. Not to mention the perch. And I ain't gonna tell you to get the Super Max. But I will say, get the Supermax. If you want a big ass plant, get the Supermax. But here's my Leo Wilkerson. It's got a couple pictures on it. I gotta get caught up. Let's see. Welcome to the family, Dark Zone. You just started messing with carnivorous plants in the summer. Welcome to the addiction. Now all we gotta see is how many plants you come up on over the next year or two. That's big. Oh yeah. I saw that one. That was the Bokaza by Jay Soper cross, if I remember correctly. You talking about the one where my man over in Europe put his whole wrist down into the mouth of the joint. That plant was nuts. People kept saying it was AI. I was weak about that. He was getting mad. He was getting mad about that. People kept asking him if it was AI. But yeah, unfortunately, I overpacked this bog starting out, bro. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go in and take some stuff out. Supermax will stay. Wilkerson's Red Rocket will stay. My big cardboard Luca will stay. This thing stays rigid all year. It stays like this all year. Like these pictures, if I don't touch them, they'll be like that in March. That's got to stay. That plant is the reason I took Hurricane Creek White Clone E out of this bog. It was literally growing over it like a boss. See, I'm all for the hyper aggressive plants. Look at Dana's Delight. Dana's picture looks good for December. Golly. Look, that's where I took Hurricane Creek White Clone F out. Never did fill the hole. Uh, oh, no. Finally, living photography must follow my channel to tell me to put some sundews in my bog. He got to follow the channel. That's the number one troll if I ever seen one. Ain't no way I'm putting any more sundews in my bog. That thing was killing fly traps and all kind. Bro, I had Sarracenia dying because of them daggone sundews. Hold on. Hope my bog doesn't get that overgrown. Good luck. That's gonna happen. What? That's the beauty of it. You don't put plants in a bog for them to grow slow. They're gonna go bonkers. You give them that first year. The second year is gonna get crazy. Telling you that right now. That's why I be on everybody posts telling them don't overplant your bogs because you're gonna run out of room. It was a lady on Facebook I saw built the bog. She put like 40 plants in that, just a stock tank, and put like 35, 40 plants in it. I said, boy, well, can't wait to see that repotting that repotting post. Dark zone, the sundews, I had filiformis sundews in there, so they were shading them out. Uh, if you go back to late summer 2024, I put a video called Drosera eviction notice on my YouTube. You'll see why. I had 15 to 18-inch filiformis sundews growing in my bog. They were going absolutely nuts. So when I took them out of the bog, it ended up being almost 300 of them. 300 of them. So yeah, I was a victim of my own success for sure. These are some older rhizomes here too. So this is Leviathan cross with Ian Wilkerson. I've shown the group of these that I got on my channel a few times. This one is the standout seedling for sure. This thing is for it to be the size that it was when I got it last year, and where it is now. Yeah, my little miners, flowers, plant that I got from homie Joseph. Man, I got a little bit of everything in here, man. Oh, the Montana. All of my perks are protesting right now because I repotted them. So none of them look too hot right now. But there's the Montana right there. Those are all of Venosa. So I'm doing 3 tubs, one with Venosa, one with subspecies purple rare, which is what this one is. Those are the northern perks, if you didn't know. And then I'm doing another one with Rosea. I just didn't get around to making the Rosea tub, which I'm glad I didn't because as soon as I got these things built, the temperature fell and just started going crazy over here in North Carolina. And Rosea are already temperature sensitive when it comes to cold temps. So I'm glad I didn't mess with it. But that's fat chance right there. This is probably, let me see. It's still alive though. Nah, I was about to say that my homeboy Dan sent me that, and I thought it was dead, but I see life in there, so I'm gonna leave it alone. That's another Rosea. I just didn't get the chance to mess with him yet. But yeah, man. So future plans. I'm taking this thing, draining the water out, pulling the trays out, and I'm filling it with peat. This will be a bog too. It'll be kind of like how the one that um over in England, my man Hampshire carnivorous plants, Matt Soper, the ones that he has, it'll be kind of like that. I'm gonna plant directly into it. I'm gonna put all the flowers on this side, and the flowers and perps. If well, no, the perps are over there. So mostly flowers will be on this side, and then Lucos and Alatas and Rubers will be down to this side. Because when I built this thing, it's super uneven. So it's super deep over here and it's shallow on that side. So it collects all the water on this side. And it was too hard to try to it was gonna be too hard to try to even it out. So I'm gonna just pot straight into it and make another bog. But man, I think that's all my plants. Well, I didn't show y'all the ones on the porch. The pot benders. Let me see. So those are some filiformis. Some of the ones I kept. But yeah, see, there's a diamond pot right there. That's what's the thing that everybody likes? Dracula backwards. Uh Alucard. That's what this is. But look, it's bent. The pot's super bent. But yeah, I have some hitters in this thing right here that'll go out into the yard next year. Yeah, trying to keep an eye on my Oriophila, man. They can be kind of finicky, man. Let me catch up with y'all. Let me catch up. Y'all give me a second. I'm finna go back in the garage. It's cold out here. What y'all say? Yeah, 300 filiformis. I sold off half of them, and then had a guy that runs a nursery that lives not too far from me. He bought the rest of them from me. Really, we just traded. I didn't charge him any. I didn't ask him for any money. I just he just gave me a bunch of plants. So we ain't never gonna complain about that. Hold on real quick. So yeah, man. Let me try to catch up with y'all's comments real quick. It's getting cold out there, man. Let me make sure I got some light on me so y'all can see me. God dang. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right, let me try to catch up on these comments real quick. Turn my Wi-Fi back on. Back in here with the babies. Yeah. Yeah. At a certain point in carnivorous plant ownership, your plant pots are Drosera with a partner plant included. That is a fact. Yeah, I just started going through plucking them out and just throwing them in my yard. People on Facebook were mortified by that. I started burning them, and every time I saw flowers, the flowers had to go. Let me see. Shout out to Pert, Montana. Let me see. I got a small size Oak Giant from California Carnivores in the spring. Yeah, hey, miners put out a lot of growth points. I can attest to that. Miners grow pretty fast. So Rosea don't like cold temps. So Rosea are from like Alabama and Florida down by the coast. So they can be a little cold sensitive. I've never had anything happen to mine, and we get pretty cold here. But I would imagine once you start going into like zone 7A, 6B, 6A, that you would need to provide your roseas with a little extra protection. So grow one leaf from each plant at a time. Well, not necessarily. Three leaves growing, that should be three plants. Now, that not necessarily. It depends on the plant. So some Sarracenia are a little more vigorous and throw out traps, multiple traps from the same growth point, and that is something that I kind of select for. I don't. I have a couple plants that look really nice, but they only throw out one picture per crown, and I don't know if they're gonna make the cuts, man. I've become a big fan of plants that just look full, and to make those types of plants look full, you got to keep divide them, and then sticking them in pots and compotting them to get that shrub look. It's a lot of work. Now, if I get a plant that just looks that nice to where it's worth it to do that, then I will. But I like the ones that throw out two and three traps per crown. And then you get a plant that has 10 crowns on it. You got 20 to 30 pictures just going crazy. Like that Helen Mary by Saxophahol that I showed y'all out there. Let me see. Are you going to keep that shallow or dig it deeper? I'm not digging nothing. Whether it's the bog garden, the flood table, I'm not picking up a shovel. Done. I'm finished. That would take a ton of peat. That's why I have a cement mixer. Let me see. You think I'm more of Venus flytrap Sarracenia growing rhizomes that make a lot of leaves on each point. So three pictures on one crown is just one plant. So living in North Carolina, have you seen Venus flytraps in the wild? Unfortunately, not. I got close to being able to a year ago, but when we were supposed to go out to see them, other plans came up. Is this my first live? Pretty much. I think I went live one time. No, that's not our first live. I built the bog on live last year, but it was all crazy. I'm not good with the live joint. Let's see. I'm in 6B and I got Rosea mix. So good luck. Make sure you protect it. Learning all the time. Much appreciated. Shout out, finally living. Always be learning. Always stay. I learn something every day about these crazy plants because there's a couple guys that are smarter than me, and I ask them questions all the time. And a lot of times I bring that information that they give me and give it to y'all. I like to cater everything to the beginners, man. I don't do well with the know-it-alls. I don't do well with the know-it-alls, and I don't do well with the people that don't like change. Cause something things change all the time. Like my plants aren't sitting in water right now, and people would croak. They found out how much water my plants don't sit in. So always be different, man. Always be learning, and dare to challenge the norm, bro. You never know what might happen. Sphagnum in my pots until recently. I'm gonna start using peat and perlite. Lasts way longer and way cheaper for more. Oh yeah. Hey, sphagnum is expensive, bro. I only really use it as a top dressing, but if you want to stretch it, run that thing through the food processor. That's what I do. Let's see. The roses in the garage at the moment. I just got it on. Oh yeah, well you good then, man. I just ignore the know-it-alls because I know they are full of it. Yeah, they hate me right now because I keep asking them for proof of people growing fly traps for extended periods of time with no dormancy, so they don't like me right now. I love Reddit though. Man, people on Reddit be tripping, man. Reddit is pure comedy to me. I don't take that joint serious over there. Dog, I got downvoted. They downvoted me like 60 something times because I asked somebody if they check their water parameters before buying distilled water, and they they sent me to hell for that. The Redditor, and then the thing is about Reddit, bro, and no offense to anybody, but the people that have the strongest opinions and always comment on all the posts be the people that have one halfway dead Venus flytrap. You never go on their pages and see these big lush plants and all the proof of their labors, and you don't ever see that their techniques and the things they're telling other people to do actually work. That's where I come in at. If I tell you I don't sit my plants in water, I can flip my camera around right now and show you they not sitting in water and they're perfectly fine. But other people don't do this and don't do. There's just so much. What my man say, there's so much groupthink to where people, if you use tap water, people think you don't send your plants to hell. It's crazy, bro. But the Redditors, dog, but that's the comedy. So like, I spend a lot of my time on Facebook trying to help people. I stopped trying to do it on Reddit for the most part. Like if somebody, I'll say, okay, just do this, and do that, and I get out of there. It's crazy over there. Reddit is for more for reading for me. That's my comedy. They sent me straight to hell that day. I asked the person if they had at least checked their water parameters before buying distilled water. I mean, me trying to help somebody save some money was a crazy idea to like 60 people. But yeah, yeah, man, I love Reddit for that reason though. But it's a lot more of y'all here than when we first got started. So we back inside. We back inside. We back inside. But see, like I said, man, these things are dry, man. These things are dry. I don't I don't get busy, man. I don't care. I used to still work in a store for literally years and years. I figured out my water quality is working. It's a lifesaver being able to hose them down when I need. Exactly. Water costs too free, bro. When you get a big collection, to put it into perspective, I'm not even talking about my plants outside. I'm talking about just these two racks. The seedlings up top and the seedlings on the bottom. That is 8 gallons a week. 8 gallons a week. Shout out to Dark Zone, man. Dark Zone be on it, man. Be on it. Love my sphagnum, man. And like I say, man, you can stretch it. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa! No tropical house plants. No tropical house plants. Every tropical house plant I get dies. These are the only plants that I'm okay with growing. Tap water's like 200. That's what's up. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. 200 ppm, I would give it a shot. I see what it do. If you haven't, if you haven't, because just because it's 200 ppm doesn't mean that the 200 ppm is full of bad stuff for your plants. The whole TDS meter thing is kind of it's like a blanket statement. We have a lot of nitrate in my tap water, so it's actually helping the plants grow. But mine is like 50 now. Mine has gone up since I got into the hobby. It used to be like 25 to 35 roughly. But here over the last years, my wife came out here to see what was going. Here over the last year, it's been like 50. There you go, photo. Yeah, and shout out to splitting your fly trap and your leaf pulling striking. Shout out to that success. I want all the success stories. Shout out to that. Hey, Cincinnati man, I have Nepenthes, and yeah, it's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea, man. I try to keep my Nepenthes and raise them like Sarracenia and fly traps, and it just does not work. No matter how many times I try to make it work, it don't work. And they grow slow as a mug. But I'm not above showing them. Yeah. This is my other rack. So I got a couple pictures on this thing. I got three Barina T8s over them, three Barina grow lights. And I got a pineapple in there that I'm throwing outside in the spring. I got this, I think, Bloody Mary. This other thing from Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever I got that. This amp that just hates me. And this is a hybrid seedling of some sort that I was literally killing from overwatering. Well, I was really killing all of them overwatering. So I changed it over to fluval stratum because this stuff, it's almost impossible to overwater your plants with this stuff because I water it today and it looks like this again in like a day or two. So hopefully that it's working because it's growing pictures and stuff. It's on its way back. So, but my biggest problem with Nepenthes, they just get too freaking big, but they take up too much space. This is a 2 foot rack, and it's way too small for these Nepenthes. But I think once it's all said and done, I'm gonna get rid of that plant. Definitely getting rid of the Apularia because it just hates me anyway. I'm gonna get rid of this one, and I'm just gonna keep this one by itself because I think this is one of the ones that gets huge. Let's see where y'all at. And then here's the moss that needs to be rinsed. But yeah, man, I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of stringy sphagnum that you see a lot of times in like Nepenthes pots. And the guys that grow it with a cover over it, I can't do it. I hate it so much. I like mine to grow in hummocks and really tight configurations. So that's why I grow it in high light. No crazy humidity. Like this rack's only 43% humidity. See? See, photography, I ain't got time for all that. Man, these things, I mean, the thing is, Nepenthes grow too big and Sarracenia grow too big. There's no difference. But Nepenthes get a little wild with it, where Sarracenia grow laterally way too big. They bust pots, they grow over the side of their pots. Nepenthes just get wild, grow all over the place. Like this one. This pot is all the way back there, and my man is way up here. But it's got pictures on it, you know. It's got a new one about to open right there. Like, it's just doing this thing. See? See the damn Nepenthes taking up too much space. A foot each? That's crazy. Can I do a close up on the moss? What you trying to see, man? I think this is about as close as I can get. Oh yeah, you fully entrenched photography. Fully entrenched. It's over for you. Welcome to the addicted club, man. But I think that's about as close as I can get on the. Oh, you should have told me to show you the moss outside in my bogs. This is child's play compared to those to that. I had to show y'all that another day when it's light outside. But yeah, this is pretty good for indoor growing though. I ain't gonna lie. This is pretty good. These are pretty good hummocks for indoor growing. Yeah, that Utricularia probably came from California carnivores. But dark zone, to get moss to grow like this, you need two things: highlight and highlight. People grow moss in a plastic bag in a windowsill. No, you need light. They want to get cooked. You cook that moss, and it'll treat you well. I just need to rinse this. I just need to drain this, which I'll do tomorrow. Oh yeah, photography. Don't. As soon as you start growing from seed, it's over for you, man. Keep y'all's fingers crossed, man. I'm trying to get some back rhizome strikes, man, on some of these Sarracenia rhizomes. I can probably use it on Sarracenia. I don't see why I can't. As far as the water, I mean, it's just all it is tap water that I flooded in there. Ain't nothing really wrong with it. I had one of my plants produce one seed, and that's what's in this pot. Probably won't germinate if I had to guess, but who knows? We'll see. And then another rhizome in here that I'm trying to get rhizome strikes off of. Let me see what plant this is from. Let me see. So we'll see. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I divided up my King Henrys and B-52s, and same thing. Just had a ton of them. I had less B-52s, of course, because I divided those last year, so it was only one pot of B-52s that I divided, and still ended up with like maybe 10 divisions. But the King Henrys, man, I had like 19 divisions of those. But yeah, I put those. I usually keep this open, but I closed it to try to keep those back rhizomes warm because they need decent heat to get going. But yo, it was good talking to y'all. I'm about to get back inside. My wife done already came out here looking for me once. Y'all shoot me a message on Facebook or IG. Let's keep the conversation going, but I gotta turn this video off. I'll let y'all later, man. If y'all ever need to get in contact with me, Facebook or Instagram is way easier. That's the best. I see those more often than Reddit and YouTube, for instance. But yeah, I'll holler at y'all, man. It was good, good trading trade secrets. Let's keep it going. We gotta do this more often, man. When everybody not busy. See y'all later, man.